Barbara Stanwyck was known for many things: strength, discipline, authenticity, and an unshakable sense of self. She worked with nearly every major star of Hollywood's golden age and earned a reputation as one of the most respected actresses in the industry. Yet behind her grace and professionalism lived a woman who did not pretend affection where none existed. Stanwyck believed deeply in honesty, and once her respect for someone was broken, it was rarely repaired. Among the countless actors who crossed her path, there was one whose name alone reportedly changed her demeanor. She rarely spoke ill of colleagues, preferring silence over spectacle, but in this case, her feelings were unmistakable. It was not rivalry or ego that fueled her resentment, but principle. To understand why her dislike ran so deep, one must first understand the woman herself, forged by hardship, self-reliance, and an unwavering commitment to truth. From orphan child to independent survivor, Barbara Stanwyck was born Ruby Catherine Stevens on July 16, 1907 in Brooklyn, New York, into circumstances defined by loss and instability. Her mother died when Ruby was very young, and her father soon abandoned the family, leaving her and her siblings scattered between foster homes. Much of her childhood was spent moving from place to place, relying on resilience rather than comfort. She eventually lived with her older sister Mildred, who worked as a showgirl and became Ruby's first glimpse into performance. These early years instilled in her a fierce independence and emotional depth that would later define her screen presence. She learned early that survival required discipline, self-control, and strength. There was no safety net, no indulgence. Those experiences shaped her worldview permanently. Stanwyck never forgot where she came from, and she carried those lessons into every role, every relationship, and every professional boundary she enforced. Finding her voice on stage and screen, Stanwyck began her career not as an actress, but as a dancer, performing in New York's speakeasies and nightclubs during the 1920s. Her natural magnetism and quiet intensity drew attention, leading to Broadway roles in productions like The Noose and Burlesque. Critics noticed her immediately, not for glamour, but for authenticity. When Hollywood came calling, she transitioned smoothly to film, debuting in Broadway nights and quickly establishing herself as a formidable talent. Her screen name, Barbara Stanwyck, borrowed from a stage character, carried an elegance that contrasted with her tough, grounded presence. By the early 1930s, she was already earning acclaim for performances that blended emotional honesty with restraint. Unlike many actresses of the era, she never relied on artifice. Her power came from truth, from an ability to communicate pain, strength, and vulnerability without exaggeration. A star defined by range and integrity. Throughout the 1930s and 1940s, Stanwyck became one of Hollywood's most respected and highest-paid actresses. Her performance in Stella Dallas earned her an Academy Award nomination and established her as a master of emotional realism. She moved effortlessly between genres, delivering brilliance in Ball of Fire, The Lady Eve, and Double Indemnity. Her portrayal of Phyllis Dietrichson became the definitive femme fatale, chilling not because of excess, but because of precision. Stanwyck never overplayed a moment. She trusted the audience to feel what she felt. Directors admired her discipline, co-stars respected her professionalism, and crews trusted her completely. She arrived prepared, on time, and fully committed. As Hollywood evolved and many careers faded, hers endured. She later transitioned seamlessly to television, earning an Emmy for The Big Valley and acclaim for The Thorn Birds, proving that talent grounded in integrity never expires. Lavadawazine, Marriage of Wasak, Bowerage, and Quiet Endurance. Stanwyck's personal life reflected both the glamour and strain of Hollywood's golden age. Her first marriage to entertainer Frank Fay began with promise but ended in pain. Fay's career declined as hers rose, creating tension that turned destructive. The marriage eventually dissolved, leaving Stanwyck stronger but deeply affected. Years later, she married Robert Taylor, one of MGM's leading men, forming one of Hollywood's most admired couples. Their relationship was built on mutual respect, shared interests, and privacy. Though their marriage ended amicably, Stanwyck never spoke ill of Taylor and reportedly regarded him as the great love of her life. She never remarried. Love for Stanwyck was private and sacred. She guarded her dignity fiercely and carried herself with restraint. These experiences reinforced her boundaries and deepened her understanding of human complexity, qualities that infused her performances and shaped her personal code. A reputation built on professionalism. Barbara Stanwyck was admired not only for her talent, but for how she treated others. She believed in fairness, preparation, and respect, regardless of rank or status. She worked with legends such as Gary Cooper, Henry Fonda, William Holden, and Fred MacMurray, earning consistent praise for her collaborative spirit. She did not seek dominance on set, nor did she tolerate disrespect. Her authority came naturally, grounded in experience rather than ego. Stanwyck expected professionalism because she lived it. She had little patience for vanity or manipulation and no interest in Hollywood games. When conflict arose, she handled it quietly, refusing public feuds or dramatic displays. Silence was her weapon of choice. For most colleagues, that professionalism fostered admiration. For one co-star, however, it became a fault line that could not be bridged, exposing a clash of values that would leave a lasting impression. A partnership that never worked. When Stanwyck was paired with Raymond Burr in the 1950s, the tension was immediate and unmistakable. Burr, known for portraying imposing characters, carried himself with an intensity that clashed sharply with Stanwyck's grounded approach. According to those present, their working relationship lacked warmth from the beginning. Stanwyck valued mutual respect and quiet cooperation, while Burr was perceived as domineering and dismissive. What troubled her most was not his presence, but his attitude. She felt he questioned her authority, challenged her instincts, and sought attention at the expense of collaboration. For a woman who had fought to earn respect in a male-dominated industry, such behavior crossed an unspoken line. Stanwyck remained professional at all times, delivering flawless performances, but she kept her distance. There was no confrontation, no drama, only a visible, unmistakable withdrawal that spoke louder than words. Principle over personality. Stanwyck's discomfort with Burr extended beyond the set. She was a woman who valued authenticity above all else, shaped by a life where survival depended on truth. Burr, by contrast, was known for cultivating a carefully constructed public image, embellishing personal stories that many later questioned. To Stanwyck, this was unforgivable. She despised hypocrisy and had no tolerance for self-mythologizing. In her view, character mattered more than charm. While she never launched public criticism, her private remarks were firm and final. Those close to her described her reaction to his name as immediate and unmistakable. It was not anger, but dismissal. She believed that people reveal who they are through behavior, and once that revelation occurred, she saw no reason to revisit it. Respect, once lost, was not negotiable. Silence as a final verdict. What made Stanwyck's feelings so striking was how rarely she expressed them. She did not gossip, feud, or seek validation. When asked directly, her responses were brief and definitive. There was no bitterness, only certainty. Colleagues recalled an icy distance whenever Burr was present, a boundary she never explained because she felt no need to. For Stanwyck, dignity meant restraint. She believed that professionalism did not require personal affection, only competence and respect. When even that was compromised, she disengaged completely. This approach reflected her broader philosophy. Life had taught her that survival often meant choosing where not to invest energy. Silence in her hands became judgment. It was not dramatic, but it was absolute. And those who witnessed it understood that her opinion was neither impulsive nor temporary. A legacy anchored in integrity. Barbara Stanwyck died on January 20th, 1990, at the age of 82, having requested no funeral and no public farewell. Her ashes were scattered over Lone Pine, California, a place tied to her Western films and personal peace. In death, as in life, she rejected spectacle. Her legacy endures not only through iconic performances, but through the values she embodied. She believed in truth, professionalism, and self-respect, and she lived by those principles without compromise. Her dislike of one particular co-star was not rooted in rivalry or resentment, but in character. Stanwyck forgave hardship, endured pain, and showed grace under pressure, but she never excused dishonesty or disrespect. In the end, her silence spoke volumes. She left behind a career defined by authenticity and a life guided by principle, reminding us that integrity, once earned, must be protected.